Hey, welcome to your weekly corner beer holler. It is me, Jons von Voice Poison, and I'm joined with Nicolas von Neues Brandenburg, which is what we've renamed America.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Where would Phoenix fit into like the what's it called? What's that Philip K. Dick, the Amazon series they did? Man of the High Castle.
Yeah, you're actually
Where would it
Arizona, I believe, is in the buffer state between the Japanese Empire and.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm free, baby. I'm not literally, it's probably it's like Fallout. Pure chaos.
It's basically just a bunch of like Japanese Empire and Nazi proxies murdering each other in kind of like in a Cold War-esque kind of way, basically.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'm like Syria in the 60s.
Maybe like Berlin, I guess. Just like it's just like one big long Berlin. Yeah.
One. Yeah. You know, my favorite my favorite Krayshawn song, one big, buffer
Long
zone
Berlin,
full of bad
yeah.
bitches.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah, no, I'm reporting live from the ground, live from the bunker. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm getting down to the bottom of it. There's election fraud going down in the United States of America. They are actually, to be very fair, I think Arizona's election may actually have to be recalled.
you're gonna do it again, like
yeah. I can't keep this bit going because I've been I'm very patient with my family. They are quite conservative and whatnot. The thing that I do appreciate is that then, like, my mom's now more into like conspiracy theories than she is actually into like actual politics.
It's more fun,
which is yeah. So it's fine, whatever. Just kind of have to like always like tread, kind of like make sure wade in the waters and make sure that my mom's not getting too deep into something anti-Semitic. And she's like pretty good about staying away from that. She's like when she sees like Bank of England or Rothschild, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm stepping away from this conspiracy theory. This is anti-Semitism. So it's been a pretty fun trip so far. I've barely slept. I finally actually got my sleep schedule kind of back into control. Been loving the fact that it's sunny. Yeah, I'm sorry for all of you in Europe that it's cold, but I'm doing God's work here. I'm getting down to the bottom of, is Phoenix the new Berlin? As in, will they have to also redo their elections and stuff?
Well, I'm also going to be, as of next week, I will be in what is now Morocco due to the terms of the beating Spain in the World Cup. They've been given Al-Andalus back, so I'm going there. I'm going to enjoy the 20 degrees weather in the sun and like -2 degrees in the shade, the weird fucked shit that happens in like southern Spanish winter.
Yeah, dude, that's the thing here is that then during the day it's in the 20s and then I like go out, it's like the sun immediately goes down.
Yeah.
And your boy is chilly.
Yeah.
It just drops to like, I don't know, it drops at least like 10 degrees, if not more, at night. And I forget that all the time. It's not like that cold, but it's really funny because I went to go get breakfast with my mom just now and like all these people are dressed in like, like North Face jackets. I'm like, bro, it's like, come on, like it's not that bad.
Yeah, no, there's a similar thing in Spain where like it's like 15 degrees on average and they're all in jumpers and I'm like, this is crazy. And then I buy a jumper from like a Zara attempt rip-off kind of thing called Stradivarius, and I'm just like, I'll get one of these Spanish jumpers, and it's like, yeah, it's a pretty good jumper. This is like suitable jumper to wear in 15 degrees weather. All right.
It's called assimilation, dog. And you just what if an Irishman were Spanish?
I mean, we had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Was it like Argentina's military or like navy was founded by an Irish guy who just like
Chile.
Was Chile? Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
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 What's his name again?
I don't know.
It's something really. It sounds like almost like a racial slur. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, but it did get like ridiculous. Like one generation, two generation later, there's just like Juan Carlos Murphy just running around, just as like one of the like Chilean ascendancy.
That's amazing. Yeah. But onto the main issue. What everyone actually, literally, everyone had been talking about for the last week.
Oh, I have one news story I kind of want to get out of the way because it's breaking news and it's just kind of funny.
Go for it.
The vice president of the European Parliament. Did you see this? It's just been caught with like sacks of cash.
Yeah. She literally. I mean, I really appreciate it because, one, Greek. This is just absolutely. This is just a national pastime. Corruption in the like literally most hilariously comical, like Acme anvil dropping on your head, like putting a drawing a circle on the wall, having huge like canvas sacks of money with the words "ill-gotten gains" written on the side of it. In a big sans serif not
font.
yet, not bribes.
Not bribes.
I don't know. I personally have to defend her. One, because as a fellow hot person, yes. You were just misunderstood. And the fact of a fellow hot Greek person, you're just racist.
Yeah. So this is Vice President of the Parliament, Eva Kaili.
She is horrible, by the way. She is from New Democracy. She is an absolute ghoul.
Deutsche Welle published the like speech she gave on about how like Qatar is leading the way on labor rights.
You know what? Yeah, Greece wants to become that because this is one of the like I've been wanting to do an episode about this forever about how like Greece has sold VW islands. They've sold the entire power grid to VW. I forget. I need to find the name of it again, but it is bad. That you literally live on like a VW colony at that point. And yeah, New Democracy loves stripping away any form of basic rights for people, labor rights, this and that and that. Yeah. And obvious the thing I just find that's so funny with this as well is that then it's like the politics of then like her and that type of bribery and that type of money laundering and this and that and that. It's fine when it is done internally within the country of Greece. Like, do not go looking through like the books. I mean, look at like the whole scandal currently with like Mitsotakis and like spying and stuff like that. That's currently going on. Yeah, we haven't even covered that. Nothing's gonna happen to him.
No,
like not like the thing of the matter is that then like Greece never becomes an issue as long this type of corruption never becomes an issue as long as it's done internally in the country and it's not really affecting anyone else in Europe. The fact that then the New Democracy member who's then in the EU just literally accepted bags of money from Qatar is goofy, and it's just like when it reaches outside the borders of Greece, then it's like like this is no longer just politics done the Greek way. Now that like outside of the region of Greece, it's just plain old corruption. So
I mean, it is funny that like authorities in Belgium had to be like, she has received bribes from an unnamed Gulf state. And I'm pretty sure, a journalist just found like transcripts of all of her speeches because like everything in the EU Parliament is like meticulously recorded.
And EBS like, baby, that's the site. Eurovision, like the other Eurovision, the not fun one.
But literally, I think someone just went like Command F UAE 0 of 0. Yeah. I'm like Command F Qatar, just like lit up like a Christmas tree. And like, all right, okay, probably got the prize from Qatar then.
Yeah, this is the thing is that, like, the EU's site is super transparent. You can watch all of the things.
Yeah.
It's Europe by satellite is the site, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah. And then, like, all that's put on, like, the Parliament website, the Commission website. It's very interesting. I don't have a thesis on it yet, but, like, it's obfuscation through boredom. Like, they just, like,
However, they did, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a kind of wishy-washy story because I've seen the video. The video got immediately deleted. They scrapped it from the EBS site as well. There was a video of von der Leyen just like spitting out the amount of casualties that Ukraine's taken.
Oh, that one,
which was significantly over 100,000. And then like EBS put the video up that morning, and then like within like 2 minutes deleted it and then re-uploaded it without that part because she was not supposed to say that like on the thing. So it's really, like Europe's thing is transparent, but then also like really hilarious when it comes to like anything Ukraine related. They will just like bend over and like just censor themselves.
Sure. Yeah. I always find the whole like casualty one very weird because it's just like they're probably gonna still keep fighting. Like the whole like.
Well, that's the thing is that there was a report that came out. I think it was this. I mean, I don't want to do last point before we move on to the main thing is that there was an investigative report that I think it was the Pentagon did or something that they were advising the Ukrainian military to train the soldiers better because what they're doing is that they're not doing any training, sending people into the front lines who are very like purposely with no training, and then there's like a 70% casualty rate amongst them. So. Yeah. They are literally cannon fodder. And casualty, of course, in this sense, does not mean death. It means being removed from the battlefield. So you can be you prisoner of war, you can be wounded, you can be missing, you can be dead. Like, I think that then when people hear the word casualty, they think, oh, yeah, dead. But, so it could be that then these people are just surrendering because they have no combat experience. It could be that then that they are, injured, this and that and that. And, Corner Späti, thesis never change. War bad. This is. I mean, bad.
Like, I think that's the history of like every country that's had to do like mass mobilization out of necessity. Like that has 100% always been the strategy. Like, of course, it's America saying you train it because America has this incredibly like professionalized army of like 2 million 2.5 million active duty service members or some shit. Yeah. And they're like, and they spend years in training, or like most of it's basically training. Like
all you do is train. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not being invaded. So True. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Now we go on to the main topic because we have to talk about this. We've talked about this before. I'm going to mention it now. We recently unlocked an episode about that we did behind the paywall where Yulia and Nick very much explained to me what the Reichsbürgers are. I recommend listening to that. We also have, I believe, operationglad.io /80. I believe it's our 80th episode. We did Day X, which is also kind of important to this. But we are talking about the weird, quote-unquote, planned coup attempt that you might have seen in the headlines in Germany. Let's have some fun with this. We need to go,
baby.
we need to do brass tacks first of like what the fuck happened. So on Wednesday, 7th of December, 25 people, including a 71-year-old prince, a retired military commander, and an acting judge and former MP for the AfD, were planning to violently overthrow the state, including an armed attack on the parliament, inspired by the storming the US Capitol, according to prosecutors. So, obviously this was stopped due to a massive raid. I think the largest in modern Germany's history. So, yeah, let's see if I have the numbers in the actual raid, because it is decently impressive. Like, the raid was like 11 out of the 16... Yeah, Bundeslands were involved. About 3,000 officers at 137 sites were involved. Mostly, there was like a palace in Thuringen that was raided. Naturally enough, the barracks of the KSK in Calw in Baden-Württemberg.
Oh, what? Crazy.
Raided. Yeah,
no way. Why?
No, that place. Listen to the JX episode. Like, literally.
Yeah, that's crazy.
As soon as I read this, I just wanted to post a picture of Baden-Württemberg and just be like, yo, I know it smells crazy in there, because it's just like something like 1 out of every 5. No, I think it's even higher than that. I think it's like 1 out of every 3 Reichsbürgers is like in Baden-Württemberg.
Rob was onto something, and we just couldn't. We couldn't. we just couldn't smell, what was going on in that state. But Rob clearly knew something was up years ago.
Yeah. So this raid was codename Shadows. And yeah, it involved a lot of people being arrested. I think of the 52 people who were being like actively tracked, I think something like 24, 27 arrests were made.
It was 25.
Something like that, yeah.
Correctly, yeah.
And 2 also happened outside of Germany, 1 in Italy and another in, I think, Austria. I can't remember. I'll find it somewhere in the notes. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it, of what happened. But we can get into a bit of the details of what exactly is going on. And I want to start with our first character, the ringleader, allegedly, of this whole thing. Prince Reichs von Gries, Heinrich the 13th. Who is
this is another one of Rob's alter egos. That's why he hasn't been on the show for a while.
Yeah, Rob is Prince Reichs von Gries.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, no, it's Kreis. It's Kreis. Kreis. So yeah, he's also, I feel like this is very prescient because I feel like I've been personally obsessed with fake royals for the last couple episodes, and here we go. They're at it.
Yeah,
again.
check back at our live show that we did.
Exactly.
I don't know if you were there, then you remember.
Yeah.
Ciarán's skill for finding the cream of the crop of those who really shouldn't be anywhere close to a throne.
Power? No, absolutely not.
Isn't he wait? You're gonna get to this, aren't you? Never mind. Never mind.
Oh no. Like, we can talk about it now, but like he's not a Hohenzollern. He's not like a big.
No, of course not.
No.
So yeah, the Rob, aka Heinrich the 13th?
13th, yeah.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, too, isn't he like 17th in line for this made up crown?
There's 17 Heinrichs ahead of him, the head of the Reichs von Gries family.
That's the thing that is again. This is why this is Rob. This is not this Heinrich the 13th is not real. Rob went deep cover into the Reichsbürger, and created that's why we haven't heard from him in months.
Yeah. He set up a fake royal family in like Turing and just like invented.
He's like
all of this.
He's like, yo, yeah. If you're 17th in line, they 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 don't even check that low down when you're doing crimes.
No,
you can totally get away with it.
You can play in the chaos, play in the mud. Being first in line of the Reichs von Gries family is like a gilded cage. You can't really do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, he is. He is 7. There are 17 other Heinrichs ahead of him. I think this is a point that I think everyone's familiar now. He's from a family that names all of their sons Heinrich until they reach 100, and then they start again. And they've been doing this since the year 1200, as far as I understand. The actual
isn't Rob's fake rapper named Heinrich?
Yes, yeah. The Inseljung is Heinrich.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's a member of the. He did the thing that Damien von Buselage did. He dropped it to be more to appeal to more people.
Yeah, to be more to be more with in tune with the streets.
Yeah. Ich habe in die Street getuned.
Yeah, whatever that meant. But okay, sorry. Keep going on.
Yeah, so it was actually the actual head of this household, Heinrich the 14th, said that there's about 17 other Heinrichs ahead of him. So yeah. He's a former commander of a paratrooper battalion, so that's why he's like, I can do this. I guess this is why he's convinced himself of that. He says,
with all that combat experience the German paratroopers fucking have.
Yeah, when we invaded Iraq. Oh wait, although he would have been like 50 when that happened.
I know, right? Yeah.
So yeah, he's like, I think he's currently, he's 71 years old. He says he distanced himself from his family, but his family claims that they distanced himself from him. So a bit on that there. Apparently, he was previously known as because obviously when you're the family full of Heinrichs, you all have to come up with nicknames. He was known as, I think, Racing Heinrich, the racing. Because
yes, I love defunct German or just European aristocrats, because when I lived in Regensburg, there's a palace there for the family.
Oh yeah,
and they're insane. It's like the Torn und Taxis family. They do nothing. They just have a castle there, and they're like really Catholic. And in this thing, the like one son or some shit like that is like an F1 driver and just has a big like thing of his face that just comes out of the wall in the like in their house. Like it's literally like 2 meters tall, protruding out of the wall, is just his face. And then like around his room is like all like race car shit. They are babies.
They have money, and they have like no like responsibilities. So yeah, that's when you get into this shit, I guess. But yeah, he was given that nickname because he does love like race cars, but also apparently because he loves models, like women. Man.
It
was, I think the literal quote was like, he's called the Racing Heinrich because he loves fast cars and fast women.
Oh, so his like literally like his entire fucking thing is just like a Motley Crue song.
Yeah, basically.
He's the Nikki Sixx of the Heinrichs.
Naturally enough, like a lot of the kind of defunct royals of Germany who have things to say, who want you to know their opinions, he had property confiscated by the DDR. That is like,
I'm saluting the NVA for doing the right thing.
Yeah, he had a hunting lodge in Bad Lobenstein, where he now spends most of his time, but that was taken from him and his family during the DDR. Because it's in Thuringen. So yeah, that's where he spends most of his time. He had a falling out with the mayor of Bad Lobenstein, because if I remember correctly, it's a petty grievance. We can't seem to get any source about what the falling out was due to. But the mayor of Bad Lobenstein is also kind of a QAnon Querdenker kind of guy as well. So
sounds like it. Yeah,
that's why they were friends originally.
But that's the thing though too, as well. Like, I don't know how much people pay attention to like the infighting within like the right group. Like the right, particularly in the United States, is the funniest thing because every single one of them hates each other.
Oh yeah,
like it's kind of hilarious that they were so like they had so much solidarity with one another, like during Trump, and then once he didn't win, now all these groups are like falling apart. And look, the best example of this is looking at the sense of, it's like, oh yeah, fuck this person because they hang out with this person and they're like too religious and they're this. Like, the right is weirdly like, it's still super powerful in some regard, particularly in the US in this sense, but the infighting is like getting to like Trotskyite levels of hilarity. And I think that more people need to be paying attention to this, especially with like the Kanye shit's proving this, because I don't want to talk about Kanye, but like
he's like
surrounding himself with like Milo, like Yiannopoulos, and with, what's his name? The Nick Fuentes and whatnot.
Oh yeah, Fuentes, yeah.
All of those rejects who then now are bringing in their rejects, who then are all like other rejects, trying to then no longer be rejects, and then all the other people on the right are just like rejecting them as too. And like Tucker Carlson, even though he believes all this shit as well, could just easily just like do the whole like absolving his hands of like, oh well, I never said I loved Hitler, sort of thing. And this is a common thing just in the right within these like fringe weird movements too. I think that's probably more common now with the age of the internet is too, and boomers don't understand how the internet works and how information's processed so quickly.
So yes, absolutely. Like there's I think one of the things I mentioned to you off mic is that like one of the things I'm seeing in English press is how much they're willing to compare it to like how they were comparing like Day X to January 6th, even though like Day X precedes January 6th by like 3 years. Like it happened in 2018, 2017, something like that. And then like how like they keep comparing it to QAnon, and like German QAnon stuff is like funneling into this and is definitely influencing it. But that's happening because like Reichsbürgers were basically already QAnon people. Like if you listen to our Reichsbürger episode, you guys mentioned the whole concept of like Deutschland GmbH, and like that is identical basically to the like QAnon conception of the deep state.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So like
this is the thing too, is that then the thing that pisses me off so much about the Reichsbürger movement, and we'll get to it later, is that the underlying critique that they have is actually super interesting because of how this country is birthed post World War II, but also particularly most post Wende, so post fall of the Berlin Wall.
Sure.
And the thing that's just so funny of it is that there's so much just like blatant anti-Semitism injected into it that they just can't see the actual problem, which is the fact that Germany is a client state of the U.S. This is true. It's not the Jews, it's not like, which QAnon believes the same shit, that the U.S. is technically a client state of the Bank of England, which is then the Jews.
Yeah, no, it's
like that diagram I think we've all seen on Facebook like 15 years ago and shit like that was posted by that like one weird dude who probably smoked too much weed and started doing like, mushrooms too early.
Yeah, but it like when the reality is like the people kind of like in charge of this are guys called like Tag Hoffenstein, who doesn't even know that he is German, like of like German ancestry or whatever, but he's just like American dude called Tag.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Or like that picture that then was always like seen with the very like anti-Semitic, like where one of the Rothschilds looks like what's his name? Mr. Burns. And it's like, this man controls the world. You don't know his name. And like, that was always the same type of, like, that was proto.
Yeah.
That was like proto Q shit as well, too. Like,
I mean, yeah, it all kind of like funnels into itself. But like, I love I don't know if you've ever seen the response to this, but like the funny and somewhat slightly true thing of like a lot of like investment funds in Wall Street are like the CEOs, the current heads of them are all like Irish Americans. Just that's the kind of like piss take that's going around at the moment. All right, getting back to this, I'm going to just talk about some of the stuff that's going on with what we have going on here. Yeah, so what's been mentioned so far by like the German state, we had like Nancy Fraser, or Fraser,
the Interior Minister.
Yeah. How do you say her name Germanly? Fraser,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nancy Fraser.
She's one of those weird ones, like Franziska Giffey, who has like an English name.
Yeah, like some German. Like we cannot stress enough. Like Germans didn't know how to pronounce Giffey's name for the longest time.
I don't know how to pronounce her name.
And Giffey is right. We've had it confirmed now after like halfway through her election campaign. It was confirmed, but yeah. But yeah, she's like the interior minister. She's been saying a lot of like stuff that's a lot of the quotes, a lot of analysis, what's happening at the moment is going to come from her because she's making the statements. And yeah, like unclear. She said unclear how far along these plans were, how viable they were. We will make our opinions known about that in a bit. Peter Frank, who is the German public prosecutor general, confirmed an armed wing of the group was going to storm the Bundestag. That there was an armed wing. They would form the basis of the new German army, supposedly, according to their plans. And it was also Peter Frank who mentioned QAnon links to reporters in Karlsruhe. All of this kind of kicked off after a tip-off in Berlin last year. 52 suspects were monitored, telephones, bank account, chat groups. In something referred to as codename Shadows, what we talked about, investigators established connections to German QAnon, Querdenker, and the Reichsbürgers, all kind of in a big stew planning this thing. Plan places raided as a part of this was a palace in Thuringen, which is, probably due to Royce, who we've been talking about, Heinrich.
Our boy.
Yeah,
Rob.
Rob.
Come home, Rob.
It's been fun, this art experiment you've been doing or whatever, but a barracks in the Cascade in Calv, which go listen to our Day X episode about what the fuck's going on in Baden-Württemberg. Almost half of the arrests all took place in Baden-Württemberg and Bavaria. More than 1 in 5 Reichsbürgers are thought to be based in the southwestern state of Baden-Württemberg alone, which, if there is 21,000 Reichsbürgers in the whole country, that means 4,200 of them are in Baden-Württemberg.
Cursed place.
Yeah.
Big things are happening. The thing that before we kind of go further with this too, the idea that of them storming the Reichstag is really funny to me, because remember that actually happened a couple of years ago during not even sure post.
I'm thinking it was one
Jan
year
6.
ago. It was last year, wasn't it?
And remember the thing, I think that then, so again, this is part of my thesis as well too, is I think that then the reason that then we're going to get to it later, but the reason this is getting so blown out of proportion is because it gives conservatives an opportunity to wipe their hands clean of a lot of the shit that they do, which is really similar to this.
Sure.
The front page of Bild the next day was, if you were here, come talk to us. We think you're cool.
That was when the people stormed the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The right wing in Germany wants to do the exact same thing. It's just that then when it happens in front of their face in a really stupid, silly way like this, and it is silly, this is dumb. The scary one is Day X. The scary one is the fact of that the military is losing, just misplacing weapons left and right across the country. Thousands of armor-piercing rounds just disappearing, That's frightening. Very highly trained German special forces who have seen combat creating a cabal of Nazism. Not even the Reichsbürger shit's it is not we have to call it at face value what it is. It's people who are Nazis who use the 1914 borders of Germany as a pretend thing of, no, we just want the empire. What do you think Hitler wanted?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
so
we mentioned it loads of times of just the kind of joke is the joke is if the Reichsbürgers took control, they would want the Second Reich back, and it would specifically be no, it's the Second Reich again. It is not the Fourth Reich. Don't call it that. It is the Second Reich again somehow, and it's just and it's a lot of it's a lot of stuff that is basically identical to what Nazi Germany had. It's just that, we can get away with saying this because we're saying
instead of it being the number 4, it's just what happens when you square 2.
Yeah,
I don't know, crazy.
This is a second little 2 up there that you can't see. But if you look really close, the other thing that triggered this that I think is important for this whole narrative, one of the things that I found very interesting is how quickly in a lot of outlets the story kind of went away. Even though it was a big thing on Wednesday when it came out, but then everyone was just is that we've been here before. People kind of paying attention to the timeline think that this all kind of got uncovered or suspicion started to arise with authorities in April of last year. Earlier this year, when they uncovered and stopped foiled the plot to kidnap Karl Lauterbach and destroy the power grid. Do you remember are you remembering this now?
I do. In second, this is a Rob-ass terrorist attack.
We're gonna kidnap Karl Lauterbach. Question mark. Second Reich again. We have our 1918 borders back. Somehow this will give us half of Poland if we just kidnap Karl Lauterbach.
Well, I mean, obviously the Karl Lauterbach stuff because of the COVID stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Querdenker influence. But a little bit about that thing that they foiled. This was being.
Rob would just kidnap him and force feed him salt because, as has been mentioned on the show a few times, due to a very reliable source, Karl Lauterbach is a very weird German man who does not eat salt with anything and like has to special order his food in all restaurants with no salt.
Yeah. That must
He'd be
suck.
so dehydrated after being kidnapped.
But this plot to kidnap Karl Lauterbach and destroy the power grid of Germany, also, that was another part of it, was a group called the United Patriots. And the operation was called Operation Silent Night, going back to the German tradition of just naming your operations in a way that telegrams what your operation is going to do. I don't think this got cut from an episode once, but it was like the British figured out what was going to happen during World War II because they named it Operation Barbarossa. And they were like, oh, this means they're going to invade Russia.
I just like the fact
Germans
too
love
that
doing
maybe
that.
Maybe they're all just. I mean, maybe also too because my brain's still destroyed from the Christmas Prince movies.
Operation Silent Night.
Operation Silent Night is like what they're like. Their version of like the Delta Force does.
Yeah, like
there's not enough.
The Moldovan like intelligence community does name all of their operations after like
Operation Kris Kringle.
Yeah, Operation Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree is just like them invading Iraq or something.
Yeah.
All right, so their Operation Silent Night, they were going to use a graphite bomb to blow up like this power relay station. That never, happened. Weapons recovered from this particular operation. This was back in April. An AK-47.
Just one?
One AK-47.
You can't,
ammunition.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It is the international symbol of revolution, but
it's
one
a
ain't
very
gonna do
reliable gun. It's a very reliable gun. It lasts forever. It was built in 1947. We're still using it. Along with ammunition for it, arrows, and a rapid-fire crossbow. Look, all right. Look, dude, Germany's going to get half of Poland back because I'm going to kidnap Karl Lauterbach and I have a rapid-fire crossbow. I am
me and my like 6 friends, we have one dude with a gun and everyone else is just, trying to be, oh God, yeah. Trying to fucking like Boromir over here. Who's the one in Lord of the Rings with the crossbow?
Oh shit, I don't know. I think it is Boromir actually. Yeah,
I thought so too. Yeah.
But yeah, just like absolutely, just being like, look, this rapid fire crossbow is key for us getting back all of Silesia.
I mean, in terms of like being cool, yeah, I agree. Like, aesthetically, they're killing it. The AK-47 just looks cooler than other guns. You can't tell me that it doesn't. Crossbows, badass. Don't agree with your politics though. Like maybe you should work on that a little bit and probably don't try to kidnap the German health minister or whatever.
Who would win? Person with a rapid fire crossbow or Karl Lauterbach?
Exactly. Yeah, deadliest warrior.
Yeah, his channel is deadliest warrior.
Yeah, Karl Lauterbach like 40 kilos.
We get all the
2
stats.
meters tall.
Incredibly healthy due to a zero salt diet.
Yeah. Probably like can like bike like 1,000 kilometers with not even breaking a sweat. He looks like a man who loves lycra.
Scientists have learned that a zero salt diet means that you can actually take about 7 crossbow bolts to the chest before keeling over.
Yeah, and then you have the guy just like what is it, the ballistics jelly, the ballistics gel that they use, just like in the shape of Karl Lauterbach, just like going at it with like with a machete and like
he's doing the side by side. Yeah, he's doing the side by side comparison of like, all right, here's our ballistics jelly dummy with no salt in it, and here's our ballistics jelly dummy with an average
indestructible. Yeah. Karl Lauterbach can stop a machete blade with his bare sunken in chest.
All right, but this plot in April that was like foiled by the authorities. This is where we get the notorious Elizabeth R., age 75, better known in the German media as the Terror Oma or the Terror Granny. She was the leader of the group. She was a retired pastor. In her writings, she often discussed the asylum seeker tsunami and bringing rape and slaughter, and the secret remodeling of brain structures through, quote, genderism, digitalization, and 5G. So you can see...
Damn, this sounds like all really similar stuff that comes out of very standard right-wing shit in Europe and in the United States. Like, wow, crazy. It's almost like that these are interconnected somehow. I don't know.
Her writings, I say writings, I think most of them were posts on Facebook, like long-form posts on Facebook. Her writings got her pension cancelled. Like, apparently you can get your state pension revoked if you're just like, yo, you're getting a little nutty with it on Facebook. Please stop. So yeah, it's because of the timeline, it's believed when this plot was foiled in April, this is kind of what like led investigators to find a bunch of threads and start monitoring the like 52 people and cover this whole thing. However, I do want to draw our attention to the second big ringleader, because the prince Heinrich Rob was the head of this group. Was the head of this group's civil society.
Of course.
Yeah, he was the head of what was called the council. But every time I saw it in English media, they would use the German term Rat. But then put in brackets immediately after it, council. So I was just like, oh yeah, he's the head of the Rat Council. my boy King Rat over here in charge of the Rat Council.
Yeah. Charlie Kelly ass over here, just swimming in the sewers, getting naked.
We rely on a foundation of rats. But okay, there was also a military wing of this group, a military arm. There was the council and the military arm, and the head of the military arm is senior field officer of the German army and paratrooper battalion who was also arrested. And I need to stress, age 69, nice, but fucking name alert, Rudiger von Pescatore. Yeah, right.
Rudiger from Fish?
Rudiger from Fisherman, I think, is pretty much what it's getting at.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Rudiger von Pescatore.
Oh, Rudiger von Pescatore. Yeah, I'm from Newark, Germany.
just like some jackass from Tyrol feeling himself, probably.
Yeah, he's just like, he's his real last name is actually just Pescatore, but he hates being Italian so much that he had to add a German naming convention to it.
Yeah, von Pescatore, or whatever.
I swear, I'm not a fucking Italian.
Yeah. Anytime someone orders like spaghetti alla pescatore around him, there's like, no, stop it.
Yeah. No, he like purposely goes out of his way too to like mispronounce Italian words like Germans too as well. So perfect. He also he feels that the perfect cheese on pizza is in fact Emmentaler.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's just insisting. So okay, this guy is like co-founder of this whole like organization that was planning this plot with Heinrich the 13th, and he was the head of the military wing. And Heinrich was the head of the civil wing. So, the group itself, like I said, had these two wings. They were into, like, Day X stuff that, like, eventually the German government would fall, blah, 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 and then, question mark, we get half of Poland back. One of the things that I think is being a bit hyped up that I'm not entirely sure it's being drawn a little too much attention to is the group intended to renegotiate the terms of Germany's World War II surrender, after they take power, right, with Russia. And Russia's embassy then denied that any Russian state involvement in the group. In a statement, it said, quote, Russian diplomatic and consulate offices in Germany have no content to represent of terrorist groups or other illegal units. And I believe that because it's like, I'd like to believe there's no one in the Russian state who would look at this group and go like, yeah, this seems viable. Like this is how we're going to get like Germany on side.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the oh god,
it's the racing Heinrich and fucking Mr. Fish over here.
Yeah, Germans love their cars, right? And
yeah, cars and
all
fish.
wish that they were Italian.
Yeah, this is your like Hamburg coalition, the Hamburg Wolfsburg coalition of like fish and cars. Yeah, like there is a Russian woman who's been detained, and she's believed to be Heinrich XIII's lover. But like. And like
a Russian in Thuringia? What?
Crazy.
Are you serious? A Russian person?
In former East Germany? How'd that happen?
In former what? No, this is a bit too much.
Yeah.
Next you're going to tell me that post of the Russian supermarket in Charlottenburg. Of like, I can't believe that this is here. It's like that's been there for
Russia Cafe or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's a grocery store. The lady who runs it's Ukrainian too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's people are stupid.
People are very stupid. But yeah, no, I am so surprised that there's a Russian woman in East Germany.
Like, I mean, let's be honest. If this plot had been somehow successful, then like Russia would take the opportunity to try and like break up NATO and work with this new government. But there was probably just no chance that this plot would have been successful at all, like ever.
Well, yeah, dude, because it's 4 dudes, a crossbow, and 1 AK-47.
And the guiding primary text, the founding text of Tara Oma's Facebook posts.
Yeah, just like a absolute rant with just like the most chaotic emoji strings that you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah,
and a bunch of like what are those gifs that are all blingy? I think they're called blingies.
Yeah, blingy gifs. Yeah,
just those.
The Tara Oma has
Ich bin so wütend, and then it's just like
she definitely opens all her posts with those really pleasant Guten Morgen, like sparkly pictures of like roses with a cup of coffee and stuff, and it's like Guten Morgen, alles Freunde, and then just like anyway, Europe's being destroyed by the Muslimic hordes and genderism.
Yeah, the Mohammedans, as she calls them.
Oh Jesus! For fuck's sake, God!
She probably does.
She does. It's like 100%. It's awful.
Yeah. For some reason, like old right wingers. Well, no, actually, Germany's even funnier because German right wingers don't like using a bunch of old terms. They use like really boomer ass terms. Like they're so. I don't know. I can't describe it in English, but if you're German, you know obviously what I'm talking about. There's a way that boomers write that's really, really kind of silly and lame to read. Exactly that. Then it is perfectly encapsulated by a Guten Morgen blingy with a coffee.
Yeah.
And then underneath it'll be exactly that. Then like yes, the Mohammedan hordes are destroying Germany.
Just like
but then has like a bunch of like weird slang in it too that then's very boomer-esque. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I need to have a whole deep dive. I need to talk this over with like Jan and Pauli. They know this better than I do, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, do you want to know about the quote unquote, according to Der Spiegel, the motley crew involved in this group's membership?
We already talked about it. It's Heinrich is Nikki Six.
But we have other members. A coronavirus denying roofer.
Like roofer, like the occupation?
Yes.
Okay.
A gourmet cook whose son-in-law is a professional footballer.
Okay, so another random dude.
Yeah. A pilot.
But like professional football in like which sense? Like that means so much in Germany. Professional football could be like 5th league.
Yeah. But it could just be like
It's not like it's gonna be like Marco Reus's father or something like that.
Like someone who's like representing Germany right now in Qatar, his dad is like,
exactly.
He's just getting texts, just being like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yo,
like
bro, your dad's posting on Maine about just like the Mohammedan hordes.
There's people just like in the locker room, like, "Dude, you have Truth Social?" It's like it's the only way I can contact my dad. it's the only thing my dad uses. I have to use it to. I'm a lurker on Truth Social. So what else we got? We got a German airline pilot, a tenor who has. a tenor, as in from like opera, who was due to be installed as culture minister when the group took over Germany. So there you go.
So what you're meaning to tell me, which is my thesis the entire time with this, is that it's just a bunch of random people.
It's just some dudes.
Again, my thesis is, and I will repeat this is my mantra for the episode. Yes, this is a problem in Germany. The Reichsbürgers are a small, they're a drop in the pond that is right-wing extremism in this country. The fact that this group exists, though, that then we're trying to overthrow the government, whatever this, and it's like this is like weekend warrior,
Casual,
coups. This is where the real problem of it is that then of people like I mentioned with Bild, who are, openly in favor of overthrowing the government on their front page the next day of when people storm the Reichstag. People like Hans-Georg Maaßen, who have deep, deep, deep connections to incredibly violent neo-Nazi groups who have murdered lots of people and covered up lots of these murders. And that there is a deep state in Germany. I hate, when this word has gotten to mean something so stupid because the right is so dumb that then liberals who love this technocratic form of government will then use it as, deep state conspiracy, this and that. No, the CIA is a deep state. That just exists as a thing. I mean, there is a lot of argument to then point to things within the United States that there is a deep state within the U.S. The technocratic means of the U.S. of these, continuous carousel of people just being plotted around different institutions, that is a deep state. It's not as conspiratorial as you think it is. There is a state of bureaucrats who do run the United States, who do run, this and that and that. And the thing that's very scary about Germany is that a lot of these bureaucrats, in particularly the security sector and the military sector and this and that defense, are Nazis. And they are very good at covering up their Nazi buddies. Remember, the Green government of Baden-Württemberg, the Green-Black government of Baden-Württemberg, I think it was Baden-Württemberg, whatever, the Green government closed the files of a Nazi crime for 170 years.
Yeah.
That isn't just, the Greens, a party that's supposed to be, anti-fascist, this and that literally is doing fascism because I don't think anyone wants to know in the German government how deeply involved the German government is with Nazism. It's the same shit with then how deeply involved the German government was with child rape in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. Massive trigger warning on that. If you want to go look it up, we've talked about it briefly before about how
we don't want to talk about it for a long time because it's upsetting,
It's upset, but just simply put is that then there was a lot of connections between people in the Bundestag and an experimental behavioral, I think it was psychologist or something for children who then would pair children with sex offenders. Foster children with sex offenders for years, for 40 years. Yeah. And it was covered up for years by the Bundestag. And this guy, nothing happened to him. I mean, I don't even think his doctoral license was ever taken away or like that. Germany has a massive, 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 massive problem that obviously stems from the fact of the end of World War II, that it was propped up by the U.S. to be a proto-Nazi or a post-Nazi state because of the Gladio shit that we've talked about plenty of times on this show. Yeah. And this stuff is alive and well still today. Germany's atonement is entirely superficial. So this stuff is really, I mean, if you want to hear the real deep down dive of the Reichsbürger and why they're so silly, there is the other episode. I think though that then the connections that then the Reichsbürgers have to other organizations is the thing that then that weirdly isn't getting enough, talk about.
Yeah, so I think we can lead into the conversations on our takes on this and stuff. I mean, you've kind of given yours, but I think a lot of stuff with a lot of German bureaucrats or government officials are we're talking about the mayor of this town that this guy's from or hangs out in is just openly Querdenker kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's just an elected official. And this kind of shit happens and a lot of them are probably just not Nazis on paper to an extent, but we've talked about extensively in the JX episode of the Galen organization, and like how like a bunch of, when bringing back the army, when like establishing West Germany's intelligence community, they just hired a bunch of the Nazi SS officers. And even if like, you know, we're maybe like a generation or two away from that, but like the people inherited these organizations made by like Nazis after
completely unchecked too, mind you.
And then like,
you know,
and the Reichsbürger is kind of like the perfect analogy for this, because like their obsession with the Second Reich and like 1918 Germany is like this perfect veneer of just like, or even maybe like to themselves a kind of like sense of like self-denial that like, yeah, we're not Nazis, but we just kind of believe a lot of the same things they do. But we get to claim, like on paper, that we're not Nazis, and whether they're doing that knowingly, wink, wink, or not, doesn't really matter, because they just still think a lot of the same things. So it's very weird, and like I think the Reichsbürger group, I think you're right, is like probably not a threat. I think the only thing I can envision them as a threat, because a lot of them are like weird hobbyists. In our Reichsbürger episode, we talked about like the fact that they're obsessed with like printing their own money, printing their own passports. Like this is someone who would just be active on like you know r/r imaginary maps or something like on Reddit. Like
there's a reason why this country, not this country, I'm in the US, but Germany, the country where our show is based out, and I normally live, why games like, you know, Truck Simulator and Agricultural Simulator are like the top selling games in the country. Germans just want to do, they want to follow the rules, they want to like exist in this thing in their own like little fantasy land, but they have like no like it's that Stalin quote of like the reason that Germany could never have a revolution is because they don't want to like, you know, step on the grass, or they'd have to stand in line, whatever the translation is. The Reichsbürgers just want German bureaucracy at the end of the day, but in their weird, like, again, as you mentioned, the money printing, the passports, the insurance company, which is the funniest.
Yeah, and the passport looks exactly the same as the German passport. It just has Reich instead of Bundes in front of it. Like, it's just... And
they throw fits that they can't travel with these documents. Like, that's the thing that's the funniest thing, is that they take them with them, and then they go and they travel to other countries and get arrested for... like a really silly, mundane law. Yeah, for like a fraudulent passport, but it's like not even it's like it can't even actually be considered fraudulent passport because they're traveling without a passport.
They're not trying to look like an actual German passport. It's like a new thing. Yeah.
It's so kooky and silly at the end of the day. But again, like that's one aspect of right-wing extremism in this country. And don't get too fixated on it, because over here, the other like 99.9% of it is a scary bog of like actually violent Nazis.
Yeah, so I think my take on it is that like the scariest version of the Reichsbürger that I can see in the future is maybe one like a part of it that gets more into the stochastic type shit. The people who are like, we're not going to be able to organize a revolution as per like what this coup plan was kind of hoping they'd be able to do. We won't be able to do anything kind of organized. The scary thing is maybe that everyone in this group did believe that violence would be necessary to accomplish this. And if that's their main takeaway, they might start like shooting up Potsdamer Platz or something, thinking that would lead to them getting half of Poland back or whatever. I kind of like that.
Yeah, because this just comes into the sense of a fear of post 9/11 terrorism. Like, I mean, the thing about it is that the right and left wing terrorism, and I will just, let's just use the blanket term terrorism is a political thing. Terrorism, a lot of our probably most of our listeners are Marxists or anarchists and this and that. Terrorism throughout history is a political means to certain things. This obviously is, people like plenty of anarchist writers have plenty of phenomenal texts on this. Lenin writes about this. There is a mechanism of that then we don't fully understand anymore after 9/11. Terrorism is just, I'm going to go blow up, Potsdamer Platz. There isn't that's not how this would look. That's not that's not a political target. There's no look at this, the 70s. That's probably more realistic of what this would look like, RAF type shit or whatever. Or, letter bombs. This if the Reichsbürger were to do things, it would be shit like that,
Yeah.
I little petty things.
The takeaway I had, and I think the best point you made actually in the Reichsbürger episode we already have, is One of the reasons this group is probably targeted more so than other right-wing groups in Germany is because they actually believe in attacking the police. They believe in attacking the existing state organisms, whereas a lot of other right-wing groups kind of want, like, have the state but more kind of thing. Like they just want the state to intensify, and there's a lot of people within the German state and the German government who can like, yeah, we can work with this. Like we can just do this.
I think that there is a legitimate point with that. I mean, because to be fair too, like, I mean, something I say all the time that then the most Nazi tattoos I've ever seen in my life have been in the Berlin police station. I was the only person who was not a police officer there. So, and I do not have any Nazi tattoos.
It's so problematic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't. My body is just a tapestry for ancient runes.
Outline the plot of American History X just on my body.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is, like, yes, there are a bunch of extreme neo-Nazi groups in this country, like the Reichsbürgers as well, who hate the police. However, I think that then that the police, like the right-wing groups that then understand that you can have entryism in the German state's actually pretty, like, fair to, do, because the German state is heavily skewed towards a kind of fascist sort of thing, just by its nature of being founded as that in by the United States and this and that, not like by the US, but in this the security systems of this country very much have their roots in, just as we've mentioned, the US and CIA just like plopping a bunch of ex-Nazis there. And I can, like, when people who are Nazis or right-wingers like the police and like the military, that makes perfect sense because their interests are very much protected in that. It's written in the German Constitution more or less than that of, okay, yeah, you can like edit certain things out about them, like, maybe like, okay, we would change the position to Poland, but that's an issue that then actually had to get changed in the 90s, because the CDU was like still...
Yeah, they wanted like Silesia,
indecisive
and
about it.
Yeah, they wanted. Yeah,
so it's like,
for people who don't know, there was like CDU pamphlets in the 80s that were like, German reunification means German reunification, and would show a map of like taking half of Poland back.
Yeah, and the German Constitution says that Germany is not reunified until all of Germany is reunified. That is a very open statement.
Yeah,
I think they had to actually edit it later, but that's the thing too, is that then. The German legal, like the legal positive obsession in Germany really is interesting if you come at it from this perspective. And like the Reichsbürger, the whole thing of that then Germany being illegitimate because the constitution was never actually ratified because it never came together. The countries actually had to make a new constitution, which is in the constitution. Like it's quirky, funny bullshit at the end of the day, but they're just, they're an outlier. A bunch of other Nazis could probably look at that and be like, oh, yeah, whatever, maybe, like, that's true. Like, okay, yeah, from a legal perspective, Germany doesn't, like, exist. But it does exist, of course. Like, there's, like, laws, I can be arrested. Like, a Reichsbürger gets arrested, doesn't pay their taxes, this and that and that. The tax evasion then gets inherited to another person, this and that and that. Like, the state's real, baby. You're getting fucked, please tell me in a cell that the German state's not real. Like, go for it, and there's been cases of families becoming indebted.
You can't hurt us if we don't believe in them.
Yeah, I know, right? Just like, no, you're not real, Deutschland GmbH. Yeah, I mean, like, people have had, like, families who, like, didn't know that they're, like, had kind of ish relationships that then have been messed up by family members becoming Reichsbürgers, then inheriting their debt or inheriting their, tax,
being forced
being
forced to become a professional footballer because it's the only way you'll get paid enough to pay it off.
Yeah. I mean, these are kooky and silly and this and that and that, but I mean, they also, I mean, like, they're also just like it's just fucking abusive behavior too from these really selfish people as well, like putting your family through that. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I think in general it was never a threat. I think one other reason why I don't think it was ever a threat is like as soon as I saw that like mentioned that they would renegotiate like their borders and they would renegotiate the post World War II settlement with Russia after they brought up, and was like, if this like coup attempt ever became viable, like suddenly every like Ramstein air base, US base in this fucking country would just activate and be like, nope. Like if a coup ever happens in Germany, it will have to be like a pro-US interests coup. It could not be anything but, because
Well, you know why they want the renegotiation of the treaty with Russia?
like to
It's
oh, go ahead.
Germany's the last treaty of World War II wasn't signed until like 1992. So World War II technically didn't end until 92 because the borders of Germany had to be like determined. Yeah. So the renegotiation of a contract with Russia, who was the final signee because the country then actually existed then at that time, they had to go in and bestätigen and everything, would be to then get Poland.
Yeah.
So
yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely. But like if that ever came to pass, Russia would try to use like, stop supporting Ukraine as kind of like leverage, and we'll work something out, blah blah blah. They'll talk a big game and something, and like I said,
I'm not even going to entertain this because it's so.
Oh no, but like I just mean like but we're responding to the people who like, we're concerned it's going to happen. It's just like no, like every U.S. base in this country, which is just fucking loads, would just activate and just be like, nope, not happening, gang. Yep. Bunch of guys called like Chad Midgley would just be like storming these would just be like murdering Heinrichs in the street. Like,
I mean, they already go around in like these little towns in Germany and just beat the shit up out of the locals and stuff like that.
Chaos,
they're more than welcome to to just fucking
the chaos
nuke the
they
country.
cause. The chaos they cause when they're not even trying. Like, mind.
Oh my god, yeah, dude. A guy that I went to university with like got beat up by a U.S. serviceman, and because he went to the wrong university. And then ended up that then because he assaulted an American, not a German, that he actually had consequences. Like you only like they run around free perfectly fine in Germany. But the only thing that then I'll say at the end is I think that that's cool. I want that, but I want it in the end of the latest Call of Duty Cold War. All right, so let me finish. The plot line of Call of Duty Cold War is really fucking stupid. I was on a night shift. I was bored. And I watched the entire campaign. Because I don't want to play the video games. I don't really. The campaigns are really short. I like the propaganda that Call of Duty does. I think it's really funny to see how this exists. But the end of the game is the sickest thing ever because it's kind of like a pick your own story thing. So you're an agent who is picked up by the CIA to go do crimes. You are a former KGB member, this and that and that. At the end of the game, you are then reunited in Ukraine with your old like KGB dude, and you guys are best pals. And it was all part of this like big, longer like thing to overthrow the US under like some. Like they're looking for this like one guy named like Scorpion or something like that or whatever. And so what happens at the end of it is that then you confront this guy who's quote unquote supposed to be Scorpion, and then you're given either the option to like follow like the CIA's thing and kill him, or you can then turn on the US and join the Soviet Union again. And then what they do is the coolest fucking thing ever. It's actually a really cool plot line that's super anti-US if you play it this way. It's not supposed to be this way. But what you do is that then you cause every nuclear site in Western Europe to malfunction, destroying all of Western Europe, having then Western Europe lose ties with NATO, every member leaving NATO because the US's like nuclear sites all go off simultaneously on a computer program hack thing that then the US has designed internally in it.
Okay.
And they blame the US for it, and then Europe ends up joining the Soviet Union. It is awesome. I have critical, and then the best part is that then the guy who's supposed to be Scorpion, I forget whatever his name is like, oh, the Americans think I'm Scorpion. One person could not do this. It's the collective effort of the Soviet Union that will collect it. Like, yeah, go King, woo! So that is like, Ciarán's scenario of the U.S. activating its sites. No. I want the end of Call of Duty Cold War where you do the pro-Soviet one and you literally usher in communism.
Okay. We can all hope, yeah. Like Nick just becomes like a Soviet Bürger.
Love it.
All right, and with that, I think that's an episode, baby. We talked about it. We talked about this weird coup attempt. I
loved it.
We'll talk about it again, probably. I don't know.
No, we won't.
I don't know. I think we're gonna get a lot of juicy gossip. We're gonna get like stupid details about like some of the members. It'll be funny. But that's
yeah. I mean, like, if we want, we can deep dive and see what 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 the football star's chef dad is like. What's his restaurant like?
Yeah, we'll get more details hopefully about Rudica von Pescatore. That'll be great. He's a character that feels like needs fleshing out in this in this story. So.
Yeah, from Newark, Baden-Württemberg, baby.
Yeah, it's outside the Jersey Turnpike of Calv.
Yo, I think some dolls live over there.
Yeah, probably. Oh, this is my people. I'm destined to become this. I'm dying.
All right. Do we have anything to shout out this week?
No. We're there's some bonus episodes. You should go check them out. People were very excited that we talked about Christmas Prince, and coming this week is fucking Princess Switch. So enjoy that. And yes,
and Cyberpunk's back too.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so stoked.
Cool.
Yeah. And on that note, guys, I guess we'll see you next week, or I guess for the bonus if you're cool.
Yeah. Ciao, buddies.
Bye-bye.